Let me go across to Puneet, because Maruti is spiking in trade on the back of very, very strong sales numbers which have come for the month of December. Puneet here to break those down for us. Puneet, expectations versus what it turned out and what stood out for you.
Well, definitely, Harsh. It's like 1,78,000 roughly is the vehicles that have been sold in this particular month. Now, that was expected to be around 1,50,000 as per analyst estimates. So, definitely a big beat on that. But when you digress into the numbers and see where the big growth has come in and why that stock has reacted like is because the small car segment, especially the mini and the compact segment, has done very, very well. So, the mini segment, which comprises, vehicles like Alto as well as Espresso, is up 190% in this particular month. That's coming at roughly about 7,400 units versus 2,500 in the same time last term. And that's where the beat is coming, because there was very high discounts on these vehicles in the month of April. And on a 9-month period, when you see, there's absolutely a fall of 15% in this segment. But this could be one of the key months. And that's why we are seeing the strong reaction, because the small car segment has finally shown some growth, and at a very big level as well, 190% for the mini segment. I also want to talk about the compact segment, which includes models like Desire, Baleno, as well as something like a Celerio as well. That's up 20%, coming in at 54,000. The first month in the last 9 months that has shown positive growth in the mini as well as the compact segment. So that's driving the big beat for Maruti. And the other aspect finally is the export picture, because they've grown exports by 39% in this particular month, coming at 37,000 odd units. That's compared to 26,000 in the same time last year. And while the base is favorable, this is a very strong number. And we had spoken to the management post Q2 numbers, and they had said that they've entered the Japan market again as well as the European market. So models such as the Fronx as well as other segments are now entering the export picture. So these three are the key that's driving positivity on the stock, and it puts a little less pressure on the last 3 months to show growth for the full fiscal year, because they've shown roughly about 1% growth in the first 9 months. So there was a lot of impetus on the next 3 months to show growth for the full fiscal year. But the December numbers are definitely a key positive for Maruti Suzuki.
Okay, key positive for Maruti Suzuki. Nirav, what do you make of these numbers? The compact segment seems to be really standing out in terms of numbers for Puneet. At least 90% growth is really strong. One, what does this mean for Maruti and the auto industry? That will be the first part of my question. And once you get to that, I'll ask you my second question. Follow on.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you for having me on your show and wishing you a very, very happy new year.
Thank you, Nirav. Wishing you the same.
Yeah, as far as your question is concerned about Maruti, I think this has been a pleasant surprise, because what we were working with, we were working on 3 themes. That is, one is revival of exports, second is electric vehicles, and the third is premiumization. That is SUV segments to drive the growth as far as the entire auto segment is concerned. So I think exports have not disappointed, but overall, if one were to take into account the overall picture, then domestic sales have been disappointing. But in the case of Maruti, I think the revival of the small and the compact car segment is a very big positive, because till now, historically, if one were to take into account the performance, this has been a pain point for Maruti. We've seen their SUV segment do exceptionally well. We have seen the exports also do quite well. But the entire performance was being pulled down by the small and compact car segment. So I think this revival, if it were to sustain over the next a few months, could definitely mean a change in the fortunes as far as Maruti is concerned.
Nirav, how should we interpret this from a larger economy standpoint? Does this mean that there's a bit of a revival, especially in consumption?
Yes, definitely. It seems to be, if one were to just correlate it with the developments in the economy, we've been reading that consumption has been going slow, discretionary spending has been slow, and basically urban slowdown, etc. But I think what this can be probably attributed to is that the rural economy has been showing some signs of recovery. That is one. And the second is the wedding season. So I think both these factors could have played an important role in the revival of sales, and also the Rabi season output is also something which needs to be taken into account. So I think somewhere it is related to the revival of the rural economy also.
Okay. Kush, quick technical check with regard to Maruti. The spike on the stock, is it trade worthy at this point, and which side of the trade would you sit on?
Harsh, more of an exit opportunity. We
Okay.
know these stocks have been, under a lot of pressure. So this is more of a rebound trade, more of a short covering trade. While it's past the 20-day moving average today, I'm not sure if whether it will sustain and close above that. And in any case, there is a resistance zone from 11,200 up until 11,400. So I won't rule out further profit booking. So for me, this is not a position or a spike where I will, initiate a fresh trade on. I will take this as an opportunity to exit. Beyond 11,400 is when we can consider that the near-term selling pressure is over, and a long trade can be considered. Right now, it's an exit opportunity.
Okay. Want to quickly try and check in on how Maruti has done intraday. 2.5% now on Maruti. Want to also check in on some of the other auto stock counters. Let's pull those up as well. Try and see as to which way they're moving. Nifty Auto, if we can get, there you go. 2.5% on Maruti. M&M also doing fairly well for itself. Ashok Leyland up. Oysher also doing well. Tata Motors doing well as well. Also have Neeraj with me, sorry, as well as Nirav with me. Neeraj, sense with regard to some of these auto stocks.
Stunning. Maruti's numbers.
Such strong numbers, and the compact side doing well, right? We've been hearing since the last, at least 2 to 3 months that consumption is slowing down. Suddenly you see this kind of number.
And maybe the hybrids as well.
Yes.
So very likely that is what's worked. But the beauty is then, Harsh, does the trade shift towards suppliers of Maruti?
Yeah.
Likely to benefit out of this. So Maruti has, M&M has, of course.
Yes.
And are those suppliers and auto anchs and any of there within that ecosystem likely to benefit? I mean, could be a key question. Nirav?